in Sunyani. In the Hafo region, Hames Radio 106.5 in Gosu. In the Shanti region, this is Alpha Radio 104.9 FM in Kumasi, and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, this is Global 105.1 FM in Ho, Adanu 107.7 FM in Adakluwaya, Damo 97.3 FM in Tamale in the Northern region, and in the Upper West, we are on Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. In the Upper East region, this is Source 100.1 FM at Boku, and Mike 105.3 FM in Avrongo. In the Northeast, this is CAP 101.3 FM in Nakban Duri. Comments are welcome via our WhatsApp line at 0549986996. You can follow me on X, formerly Twitter at Seloma, doing the hashtag as always is Citi Newsroom. Now let's zoom into our first story. Now, about 20 schools in Nanink and Ngami communities in the Bumpurugu Yoyo district of the Northeast region have been closed indefinitely due to insecurity in the area. A chieftaincy dispute between the communities has resulted in several deaths, injuries, and the destruction of properties. The killing of a non-native teacher in the area has led others to abandon their post. Confirming the development to Citi News, the Northeast Regional Public Relations Officer for the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Bajab, said the situation remains unsafe for both teachers and students.
Really, the schools are affected by the conflict, the chieftaincy conflict. Because of the conflict, the teachers and the students and pupils are all afraid to go out there and go to school. Mm-hmm. So attendance is affected drastically. About 20 schools are affected. There has been a stakeholder engagement to see how best the situation can be averted. And so the director and staff of the Ghana Education Service over there with some major stakeholders held a meeting to see how they can help bring back students and teachers to school.
So you heard Daniel Bajab, the Northeast Regional Public Relations Officer for the Ghana Education Service. Let's go on the line now and speak to Ibrahim Tia, Honorable, the Northeast Regional Minister, to bring us up to speed on what's been happening in the area. He's also the chair of the Regional Security Council. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What is the latest in the situation? Over 20 schools closed down. What is really the situation? What can you tell us about what is happening as we speak?
Yeah, just as the PRO spoke, a conflict broke out within the Bumbago Nanik area, and then 3 lives were lost, including a teacher who is not even a native of the area. As a result of that, all the teachers fled the area, and then we had to take a decision to close down the schools to save life and property. Students who were about to write, we decided integrating them to the nearby schools in Napanduri and the Munkugu so that they could join them to write. And then whilst we see how we can work effectively to get the situation under control, and then see when the schools will be open for classes to start.
There's always been some difficulty in the area, but what triggered this particular one?
Purely it's a chieftaincy issue between Bumbago and Nanik. And you know, Bunkugu specifically, or Bumbago and the Nanik, it is a clan issue. It's a tribal issue. So, and they are a bit dicey. It's not everything that we can see on air. Once it's a conflict area, the situation is too fragile that we need to be careful with some of the issues. We cannot bring them into the public domain. But the overlord of the area, the Nairi, and then the Bunkugu chief, and other stakeholders are working around the clock with the Regional Security Committee to see how we can bring the situation under control.
One would expect that we'll have a lot of security men patrolling the area. What is the situation on that front?
Please come again.
I'm saying that one would expect that we will have more deployment of security personnel, police, military people, etc., in the area to restore or maintain calm. What is the situation on that front?
Oh, there is enough security there. We are patrolling the communities to bring the situation under control, and we are even pitching a camp in between Bumbago and Nadik where the clashes are taking place. So currently there are policemen there monitoring the situation on the ground.
I see. So as regional minister and head of the Regional Security Council, what assurance can you give to persons whose relatives are in the area and the persons themselves, who are residents of these areas or communities?
Yeah, for now, once the security is there, the police is really is calm. And then the RISEC is meeting to review the situation and see how we can get all the stakeholders on the table so that we speak to the issues and see how we can find a lasting solution to the conflict over there. Like I mentioned earlier, the overlord is inviting some of the chiefs so that they will also sit down and look at the situation. RISEC is also working behind the scenes to see how we can even get the perpetrators to those who are always firing the guns, and then maybe see how we can handle the situation.
I see. Thanks so much, Honorable Minister, the Honorable Ibrahim Tia, North-East Regional Minister, for speaking to us. And the news is that about 20 schools in the area, Nanik and Ngami communities in the Bukpurugu Yoyo area of the North-East region, have been closed down indefinitely due to insecurity in the area. This latest twist was occasioned when a non-native teacher was killed, and so this led to others abandoning their post, and so the schools have had to shut down. And as the minister just said, students in the area or pupils in the area will be taken to other schools so they can prepare and write their BEC, which comes off in the next month or two. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's do some parliamentary news now. And the Speaker of Parliament, Abu Mbabe, has initiated investigations into unsavory comment made against Dr. Zanetta Rawlings, the Member of Parliament for the Korle-Kotte constituency, during parliamentary proceedings on February 4th. A male voice was heard making disgusting comments at Dr. Rawlings. In the formal communications to the House, the Speaker apologized to Dr. Rawlings and her family and gave the corporate an ultimatum to come forward within a week or face consequences.
I was then attending a conference in Morocco, so my deputy was on the chair. Media footage available indicates that during this attempt to speak, the unsavory remark was uttered off microphone from a seat of the minority side of the House in reference to the honorable member. Such conduct is dishonorable, and I strongly condemn it as a behavior unbefitting of a member of Parliament. The law on this is very clear. Article 115 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana guarantees freedom of speech, debate, and proceedings in Parliament, ensuring that such discussions cannot be impeached or questioned in any court or place out of Parliament. This privilege of freedom of speech is reiterated in Order 22 of our standing orders. Honorable members should, however, note that this privilege is not absolute and must be exercised responsibly and in accordance with the rules of Parliament. Article 116 of the 1992 Constitution provides that while members of Parliament enjoy immunity from civil or criminal proceedings for statements made in Parliament, they remain accountable within Parliament through the Parliamentary Committee on Privileges when those statements are found to be prima facie defamatory or in contempt of Parliament or in breach of parliamentary privilege. Such a member, when found guilty of defamation, or in contempt of Parliament or in breach of parliamentary privilege would be liable to be reprimanded or by resolution suspended from the service of Parliament for a period not exceeding 9 months, or expelled from Parliament altogether.
You are the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Abang Bawin.
Well, let's stay on this matter and speak to Anita De Soso, former first vice chair of the National Democratic Congress and one of the persons who protested and petitioned Parliament today on this same matter, the matter of an MP, a male voice in the chamber, calling the former president, J.J. Rawlings, derogatory names in description of her daughter. And that has ruffled some feathers and rubbed off wrongly on many people. The speaker, as you heard him there, is apologized to the honorable member of parliament for the Koroti constituency, who is a daughter of the former president. And let's speak to Anita De Soso to see whether the demonstrators or the protesters who presented a petition today are satisfied with the apology and the steps the speaker is taking. Hello, good evening, ma'am. Welcome to Eyewitness News. So the speaker is apologized to the Honorable Dr. Zaneto Rawlings on behalf of Parliament and is instituted investigation into the matter. Does that make you feel better, at least, that officialdom is dealing with a complaint?
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. To me, I was not there when the speaker took that decision, but what we are saying is that we want the one who came out with that statement. We are not going to sit down and say that, oh, no, because our speaker have said it. No, we just want to know the actual person who said it. Because how can somebody come out with such a story? The person is late. So even if you have something to say, at least you have to ponder over it or think over it. They think we are fools, my dear brother. We are not going to entertain this. He also belongs to the family, and we are going to protect him. So what we want, whether he says he's sorry or no, we just want to see the person, especially me, with Uncle Agodasi, Lydia, and others. We just want to know, because we are not fools, and we are not going to accept that. If not, I will call people who would demonstrate in this country. People will be shocked. Why should they do that to us? What have we done wrong for them to say such a thing? So whether they have spoken to the person or the person have spoken to speaker or the speaker have said sorry, no, we just want to know who said it. Finish.
The person hasn't spoken to the speaker. Indeed, the speaker, I think as we speak, doesn't know the person, but he apologized on behalf of Parliament to the honourable member.
Oh, if it's on behalf of Parliament, yes. No problem. It's accepted.
Yes,
but
and in fact, the majority leader also did same, apologized to the honourable member on behalf of the majority.
Then, yes, but still, we are not accepting it.
You are not accepting the apology from Parliament?
No. We just want to know who said this thing. My brother.
No, I thought you just said you accept the apology, but you are saying that you will not accept.
You said it's a speaker and others who said that, isn't it?
Yes. And so, it has drawn widespread condemnation.
My brother, do you know something? Because our speaker is one of our elders, we can't just say that we will not agree, It was he who said he's sorry, or let's say he's saying that we should just forget about it. And I'm telling you that what he has said, though we have accepted, but still we want to know the person who did that. Because if not, we are not going to take laws into our hands. But we also have formulas that we can pass through that will get that man. Because we will not allow anybody to underrate our funder. Never.
You said you have formulas you pass through to get that man. Can you explain further?
If we want him to come out to say that I said it, I'm sorry, it's better. But if he doesn't want to say it, definitely some people know him. He's an MP, so definitely one or two people were around him when he said it. And we will do the best that we can to know the one who said that. That's all.
I see. I mean, some have said that given the widespread condemnation of the matter and how senior members of the country have apologized.
Which wife?
What I mean is widespread condemnation given to the comments.
Okay.
You know, people are of the view that, you know, you should let bygones be bygones, so we forge ahead, you know,
my brother,
with
never.
renewed strength.
It will never happen.
It
will never happen. We are not going to allow that. We are not going to allow that. Yes, we are not going to allow that. So it's better he comes out personally to say that I'm sorry. Do you understand?
But how is the family feeling, and how is the spouse of the former president feeling about what's been happening so far?
My brother, it's very disheartening. It's very disheartening. Just imagine your dad is late, and someone will just come and stand there and say all sorts of things against your dad. Somebody who started from 79 and also even 1992 Constitution, he brought it. And when he lost, after his terms, he left it. Former President Jekum came. Then our prof, the late prof, also came and left. Later, it was who? Nanado. After Nanado, we are back. Because this is the time, my brother, it's not about NDC or MPP or I belong to Ewe, I belong to Akan. No, we are one people. But if a group of people are trying to underrate the Ewe, we will prove to them that they should not play with Ewe.
No, is it an Ewe thing? Is it a tribal thing? Or it's something against an individual?
Tribal is also part of it. Rollins is from Volta region.
No, but if you extend it to the region or you make it tribal,
yes,
that's entirely a different matter.
I'm telling you, today the demonstration that we did, it was Ewe.
Yes, the fact that they were
for people to underrate that,
because Rollins comes from the Volta region, but the comment was not as despicable as it was not a comment about Ewes, was it?
The comment was about our father. Our father. And at the same time, he belongs to our tribe. That's why we are showing much concern. So whether the guy, the man, the MP like it or not, we just want to see him, for him to come to us that, yes, I said it, I'm sorry. Then we'll forgive him. But if he refuses to come, we will also not forgive him. We will do the best that we can to know where he lives or where he stays. He should just come out and say, yes, I said it, I'm sorry. We will forgive him.
I see. Very well. Thanks so much, Madam Anita D'Souza,
You're welcome.
former Vice Chair of the National Democratic Congress. But I mean, these days we've not been hearing of you. Where are you in the scheme of things?
Not around. You know, after the elections, I have to go and rest. You know, it was not easy. We did. It was not easy. We were not sleeping, going up and down. That's why God have given us the mercy and favor, and we won all these seats. So I have to also go to the village and go and rest for some time. So I'm now back.
I see. Are we expecting to see you in any role? Appointments are flying, up and down. Are we expecting to see you in any role?
No. They are still doing it, so we know definitely we'll get a place where we can also still continue to assist the party and also to do the best that we can so that we can be at the presidency for a long time. I was not in town, I traveled.
I see. Very well. Thanks so much. We wish you the very best, and we pray that everything works out well. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We have some more news in Parliament.
Because the minority has objected to the use of numbers to determine the order of debate on the President's State of the Nation address. After First Deputy Speaker Bernard Ahiafo called on the Bia East MP Richard Echampo to speak following a contribution from the Boga Central MP Isaac Adongo, both from the majority side, minority leader Alexander Penyomakin opposed the arrangement.
They are trying to set a bad precedent. Which bad president will bring chaos to this house? Which bad president will crucify democracy? Mr. Speaker, we have human rights activists on the majority side
The lead human rights activist is the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, why are they trying to, as it were, go against the promises of our constitution? Equal opportunity. Equal opportunity. Equal opportunity. Mr. Speaker, is guaranteed. Mr. Speaker, we will not. Mr. Speaker, we will not. I repeat, we will not accept, allow the majority to use its numbers to intimidate us. Mr. Speaker, they should know that they are not going to be in this majority forever.
Minority Leader Alexander Penyomakin, the Majority Leader Mahama Yarega on his part says the arrangement will not be changed. He urged the minority to stage a walkout if they are not interested in the debate.
We could not arrive at a consensus. Because we could not arrive at a consensus, we said that the matter should be put to a vote. The matter was put to a vote, and they said they didn't want to vote, and they were objecting to the decision. I said the standing orders say decision should be by voting. So if you vote, vote. If you won't vote, then you are abstaining. And they said they were not abstaining. I said, you are not abstaining, you are not voting. What kind of position is that? So we voted, and we recorded the votes. And the vote was that 7 of us approved the decision to use the population size in the House as a ratio by which we will share contributions. 4 of them said we should record that they were against the decision. We said that means that you are voting against the decision. 7 have voted for, so we have taken the day. We came to this chamber, we reported. We rehearsed the same arguments. The same argument, the argument that he's repeating here was rehearsed on Friday here in this chamber. And we said, look, the rules are that business committee should program debate, allot time, and we have met and we have allotted the time. This side will take 68% of the time, and you will take 32% of the time.
You heard the Majority Leader, Mahama Ayarega.
Now let's go to Parliament and speak to Amanda Niayi Kweokan, his parliamentary correspondent. Hello, Niayi. Welcome to Eyewitness News. So how did they resolve this impasse, or were they able to resolve it at all?
Well, good evening, Salom. So as it stands now, the leadership have gone into a conclave meeting to resolve the matter. The first deputy speaker, who was chairing proceedings at the time, Bernard Ahiafo, stated that if after the conclave meeting there is still not a consensus, then he would be compelled to direct for a vote on this matter. So that is what we are expecting. It was a 40-minute suspension. We are hoping that any moment from now, they would return from the conclave meeting and then put to bear what exactly transpired and then the way forward. If there was no resolution, then of course a vote will be taken on this decision. Earlier, the majority was of the opinion that if the minority is not satisfied with the agreement, they could stage a walkout. But it is a position that the minority isn't ready to adhere to. They believe that they would stay in and then take the action of a vote on this particular matter. So that's what we are waiting to hear from the first deputy speaker on the way forward.
But what I mean, since when did this become the norm, or is it a case that Parliament uses numbers in proportionate terms to decide matters, maybe apart from votes, contributions, etc.? Well, is that what happens in Parliament, or this is new?
So from the minority leader, Alexander Penyomakin, this is a new occurrence since the year 2002. This hasn't ever happened on the floor. So where from this precedent that is being set, by the majority caucus at this time round. But the argument of the majority is that they have quite a chunk of the numbers, 187 as against 88. So if they allow the usual procedure of each side matching the other side, it will be unfair on the part of some of their members. To this end, they made this proposal, but the minority also seems to be against it. Last week, Friday, this was a proposal that came forth in the business statement that was presented by the majority leader, Mahama Yarga. The same disagreement ensued on the floor. We were hoping that today that would be resolved, but from the minority chief whip, Frank Anodompre, they could not even reach a consensus as well this morning. What they made clear was that they were going to have 5 from each side of the House debate on the State of the Nation address. However, the majority was also not happy about this directive. So even at conclave meeting this morning, there was still not a consensus on this particular matter. So I just had the speaker back into the chamber. Now we do not have the third deputy speaker. The speaker himself, Alban Bagben, is in to chair proceedings. So we wait to see what the next line of action will be, whether there's been a consensus on this matter or the vote would be taken. Salam.
Yes, I was curious to know or to find out what the speaker himself thought about this since the matter began on Friday. And you're just saying that he just walked into the chamber or is now back into the House.
Exactly. So on Friday, he wasn't the one chairing proceedings. Friday, proceedings was being chaired by the second deputy speaker, Andrew Esiama Amwakwan. And then today also we haven't the first deputy speaker chairing the debate on the State of the Nation address. After the disagreements ensued and they went into the conclave meeting, we now have the speaker himself, Alban Bagden, chairing proceedings. So we'll wait to listen to what he has to say on this.
All right, thanks so much. We'll be here to hear from you what the resolution on the matter is. Thanks so much for speaking to us. Ni Ayiko Okan is our parliamentary correspondent, just reported from Parliament on the impasse currently ongoing in Parliament in respect of the numbers and how time should be apportioned to members of Parliament. Minority thinks that they should have equal time and equal number of persons, as a majority contributing or debating the State of the Nation address. They say that has been the practice irrespective of the numbers on both sides. They've always had equal time and equal numbers. But the majority is also saying that no, we have 187 against your 87, which is actually 2/3 of your number. And we cannot have equal numbers of persons at the same time debating. That will not be fair to us. Well, so we see how that matter will be resolved. The speaker presiding at the time, First Deputy Speaker Bernard here for suspended sitting. They went for a conclave, and we understand the Speaker himself, Abang Babin, is back, and we'll see how that matter pans out. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. A few of your messages that have come through Lukeka Zoko in the Upper East region says, I appeal to all the factions involved in the chieftaincy conflict in Northeast to give peace a chance. Education is the surest way to develop our deprived communities in the north, and it is worrying if schools are being closed down. Many of these students are likely to drop out of school if the instability is prolonged in the area. Daniel in Ashaman says, good evening, Salom. Anita De Soso should give us a break. You said she used more derogatory comments or words on former President Kufuor in the past, and you say she should be the first to apologize. I see. Ni says, I think the meaning of honorable must be put in bold letters at the Parliament Hall or the chamber. I see. Abi National in Wa says, under President Mahama presidency, this country will see total peace. Jones at Doboenla says, good evening, Salom. We are pleading with our brothers that they should give peace a chance. War or conflict will not bring development. I commend the Speaker of Parliament for the move to investigate this uncivilized comment. Noja Bright in Nottinghamshire, United Kingdom says, Parliament should not come and tell us the person who made the comment could not be identified. The unsavory comment was made under camera. The Parliament of Ghana should be a place of honor, not for childish behavior. Now, let's cross over to the National Economic Dialogue now. So we take the closing address, speech being delivered by the Vice President of the Republic, Professor Jenana Opoku Ajimai. Let's take a listen.
We must move away from over-reliance on a few sectors in order to enhance our competitiveness at all levels. The importance of improving productivity, embracing technology, and prioritizing human well-being through inclusive economic growth cannot be lost on any one of us. Infrastructure investments also align with long-term development goals. The benefits of such actions are improved connectivity, reduced costs, and unlocking new opportunities for businesses and communities across the country. In all of this, we must ensure that the structural and policy reforms support a more resilient and competitive economy, especially in key areas or key sectors such as agriculture, education, healthcare, social welfare, and others. Our commitment is to continuously review and adapt our policies to meet the needs of a changing global economy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a private sector-led growth model is important. We need an enabling environment that allows businesses to thrive through improved access to finance, better infrastructure, or creating a more competitive business environment. We must strengthen the private sector as the engine of growth. This must go beyond just being mentioned too often. We need to act on that and ensure that it is capable of creating even more jobs and driving innovations. We must anchor these interventions on good governance and fighting corruption. Effective governance is essential for improving public sector efficiency, enhancing transparency, and strengthening institutions to eliminate corruption. The reset agenda is both ambitious and necessary. It requires a concerted effort from all of us, that is government, private sector, civil society, every Ghanaian citizen. And I want to assure you that the government of Ghana is fully committed to translating these resolutions into concrete action. I have noted all the homework you have given us. Our promise is to collaborate with all sectors and all sections of Ghana to ensure that we deliver a homework worthy of an A. We will work with stakeholders so that the action points are implemented effectively. This means ensuring that we take sustained action in the areas of fiscal reforms, private sector support, infrastructure development, and good governance. Furthermore, we need to track progress, remain transparent in our efforts, and definitely, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, accountability will be a central pillar in the implementation process. In the months and years to come, we promise to stay engaged with you to monitor our progress, ensure that we are delivering on the strategies proposed during this dialogue. We are confident that with sustained collaboration, determination, and collective action, we will build a more resilient, inclusive, and prosperous Ghana. Again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if on this important journey we reduce reliance on unhelpful direction, move towards a truly economically independent country, capable at the minimum of feeding itself, when we make judicious use of human and natural resources, reduce poverty as an objective, and aim at its elimination, when we ensure that decisions and actions reflect the voices of our different demographics in this forward march, we should be on a good path in making a lasting contribution to building the Ghana we all want together. I want to thank all of you for your attention, and I also want to thank especially the speakers, the rapporteurs, all of you for making the two-day dialogue effective. It is a dialogue, so it hasn't ended. We will continue. Thank you very much.
Please, let's not forget yesterday. Let's put our hands together one more time.
Economic dialogue, which started yesterday and is closing today. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll tell you more about the former Director General of the National Service Authority, who was out of the country and was wanted in respect of the ghost, the NSS ghost name saga. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Google me. At what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so. This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir. Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them. Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside? I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small. Go. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Now, a former Deputy Director of the National Service Authority, Gifty Owari Mensah, has returned to the country amid an ongoing investigations into a ghost name scandal at the authority. He, however, follows a government directive for investigative body to trace and freeze the assets of individuals suspected to be involved in the fraudulent scheme. Reports indicate that some persons wanted for questioning had left the country to evade justice. Before her return, the National Investigation Bureau detained former Deputy Director for Operations at the NSA, Kweku Ohinijan, but was later released after questioning. Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin, addressing journalists, indicated that Gifty Owari will be available for investigations.
They can reach out to some of us. Sometimes this whole Rambo style thing, it doesn't help. If you want to invite somebody, you can invite the person. The person is a public official. There should be no problem. Person comes with his lawyer or decide that I don't need a lawyer. Come, answer questions. If the person has to be bailed, is bailed. If the state needs the person for further investigation, arrangement is made. I mean, I think that is what is required within the law.
You heard the Minority Leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin.
Now let's go to the line now and speak to Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. They had maintained that the lady was going to return. Now she has come. Let's ask her what the party has in store for her next in terms of assistance and all of that. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Now, the lady in question has come. Do you have any indication whether she's been picked up yet or not?
Thank you, Salom. I will say good evening to your cherished listeners. It's been a long time that I've been in your studios.
True.
For a discussion. Today, Honorable Gifty Owari has touched down in Ghana. He was met at the airport by some parties to us. We've heard the minority leader speak on that matter. What we do know as a political party is that we will rally behind every appointee that will be chased by this particular government. And for the fact that they are members of this party, we know there is accountability. We know there are laws that govern acts in this country. And we know that Honorable Gifty will certainly abide by all the rules and regulations that will support any other investigation. And I know that she personally will avail herself to the NIB when the need arises or when she's called upon or voluntarily. She will do so for the sake of law and order in this country.
You said you rally behind every appointee that will be chased by this administration. Irrespective of what the matter is, you will go ahead and support them against the state. Is that the point?
Yes, we will look at all those matters because you know that the previous government has handed over peacefully to the current administration, and any other government appointee that this government wants to investigate, we want to ensure that proper investigation goes on, and the investigations will be given to the prosecution, and the Attorney General will go ahead and do whatever that prosecution that they are going to do. So for us as a party, we are going to support any of our appointees in any legal process that this government will want to witch hunt them. We are not running away from accountability, but we want the due process to be followed. We are not saying that nobody should be accountable, but we are saying that the due process of law must be followed. And
but what's the due process? The due process of law is that she's been invited, but she was not in town. Nobody knows where she was. Can you tell us where she was and why she wasn't in town for that protracted period of time?
Well, the question is not about where she was and why she was not in town. She was not being sought for, or they were not looking for her when she left the country. So if they need her and she has now come back to the country, it is her that will go to them. Or if they so need to go and pick her, but she will go to them for investigation. And that is what it is. Much as I'm talking to you, nobody's looking for me. That does not ban me from traveling out of the country. I can travel out of the country any point in time. If they are looking for me and I saw here that they are looking for me, I come back to the country and get myself accountable to the state. And that is what it is. So she has come back, but we are just telling the current government that the due process in arrest, the due process in investigation must be what we should all follow, because we don't want anybody to go outside the realms of the rule of law and do whatever they want, because we are law-abiding, the lady is law-abiding citizen, and she's back and she will avail herself.
Very well. Thank you so much, Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the MPP, for speaking to us on this matter. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM, Daniel Akpaliog in Sandema, says that the government appointees of the Eswal Akufo-Addo government or administration were clothed with immunity against proper investigation and prosecution. Their day of reckoning has come, and they must be made to pay dearly for what you describe as recklessness and bad acts. I urge the appropriate authorities to use all lawful means to retrieve all state resources that have been stolen by them, you say. Carlos in Odododio says the NSS Deputy Director, Gifty Owari, should be picked up immediately upon her arrival at the airport. It looks like President Mohammed's government is pampering the opposition MPP and giving them too much room. People like Nana B and Wuntumi should not be speaking at this time. They should be in the cooler by now. And you add fast. Well, that's Carlos in Odododio. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We go to Sami for a story on the National Economic Dialogue.
And a member of the planning committee of the forum or the dialogue, Professor John Gachi, says recommendations from the forum will play a crucial role in shaping Ghana's long-term economic strategy. The two-day dialogue, which ends today, has focused on sustainable macroeconomic stability, economic transformation, and infrastructure development. Other key areas of discussion included structural reform, private sector-led growth, governance improvement, and anti-corruption. According to Professor Gachi, these proposals will be integrated into the framework of a National Development Planning Commission.
It is very clear that the prospects outweigh the fears of people. But we also need to appreciate that the low-hanging aspect is that some of the recommendations will definitely reflect in the next week 2025 budget. That is one commitment. Then the second one is that under the leadership of National Development Planning Commission, the medium to long-term aspect of the deliberations will be influenced by their activities. So there is clear commitment to ensure that we live up to expectation. And then we are also proposing, if it is possible, to institutionalize this so that maybe every 2 years or every 3 years we come together as a people to look at how best we can improve the economy of Ghana.
Professor Gachi further stated that the absence of the MPP will not affect the outcome of the forum.
We are building consensus, but you cannot force anybody to be part of the consensus. What we want to achieve is inclusive engagement, and we have invited all political parties, we have invited parliamentarians, we have invited chiefs, we have invited experts, we have invited academia, we have invited people in our trade space, the productive sector, the private sector. We have invited all these people. And I believe that we have achieved sufficient inclusive engagement. So that is what we are using to assess the work that we are doing here. So if one political party said they will not come, they are assessing the reason why they will not come against the prospect of they participating, and perhaps they realize that if they don't participate, it doesn't make any sense, or it doesn't make any difference. So I can't speak for them.
That was a member of the planning committee of the National Economic Dialogue, Professor John Gachi.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. When we return, it will be time for Citi Business News. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now. Go, go. Gugomi, at what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I not change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so. This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir. Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them. Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside? I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small. Go. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for the Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Sami Riafe. Now, players in the construction industry are urging the government to allocate 20% of the upcoming budget scheduled for presentation on March 11th to settle outstanding arrears. According to the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, many of its members have completed their services, yet payments are still pending. Daniel Odro has more in this report.
The 2025 budget, as outlined by the government, will provide a comprehensive breakdown of the country's economy and policy proposals aimed at resetting and advancing the nation's economic agenda. Additionally, the government has stated that the policies to be announced will be shaped by the National Economic Dialogue. In light of this, the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry is urging the government to demonstrate its commitment to paying off some of the debts owed contractors. Emmanuel Cherry, the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, shared this call.
Most contractors have worked, their certificate has been locked in, and the payment has not been forthcoming. And therefore, the government must try as much as possible to make some cushioning for us. Not all per se, but at least to show some good faith in doing that. Even if 20% across board, we'll be so much glad at least that's a good start, so that they take their time to mobilize and then take care of the rest, whilst they also bring in their project. We are ready to support them. We are ready to partner them to do whatever that is expected. But let it be on the case, on the table that is a winning affair. It shouldn't be para.
Furthermore, the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA, has called on the government to eliminate the 5% value-added tax on the sector to offer relief. Patrick Ebobomfu, the president of the association, made this plea.
Ahead of the budget presentation, for us, the 5% VAT, we want it abolished, to be honest with you. It's not good for our business. And we think that there are other ways that government can help us rather to grow by incentivizing the sector. We need to be able to build affordable houses for the masses, not just for the few. I think that this is something the government might look at it, even from the point of view of national security, because if people are not being housed and the situation gets very bad, an example that happened in Sao Paulo, the records are there, where the indigents just got up and blocked all routes that lead to all the flashy residences, and said government must listen to us and build houses that we can also live in.
Patrick Ebobomfo is the president of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, ending that report by Daniel Odro-Mensah. Now, the government is being urged to diversify the economy and enhance export competitiveness as a part of its broader strategy to reset Ghana's economy. These recommendations emerged from the breakout session at the National Economic Dialogue. Presenting insight from the Growth and Index session, Mavis Owusu-Gyamfi, president of the Africa Center for Economic Transformation, emphasized the need for deliberate policies to drive sustainable economic growth.
Around export competitiveness, there's a lot that we can do around trade facilitation. A couple of the businesses in the room said when they were trying to diversify their businesses, they went to certain government agencies and were told, come back when you are ready to export. No, they should meet the criteria now before they even start going into the export market. We have embassies in a number of countries. Who is looking for the markets for our businesses to grow? It should be a criteria. They should have performance targets to make it a reality. Next slide, please. Productivity. There's a lot that will be said about energy, access to water, all of that, but there's a lot around our skills that we need to do. So there are a couple of things we want to pull up on productivity. The first one is really make sure that you are skilling for the industries you're trying to transform. We can't do everything. We have to face it. So be intentional about skilling for those industries.
You are the president of the Africa Center for Economic Transformation, Mavis Owusu-Gyamfi, presenting recommendations for the private sector-led growth breakout session. Abena Amwa, the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, called on the governor of the Bank of Ghana to actively engage businesses in monetary policy deliberations.
One of our key asks is that we believe that the macroeconomy is often diverged from the private sector. So, Governor, we want the private sector to meet with the Governor, with the Bank of Ghana and the MPC frequently, I'd say at least twice a year, where you can hear us and see how the tools you have support growth and create employment in Ghana. We are going to meet in 2 months. We are going to flesh out our initiatives, and that we are going to meet in 2 months to ensure that these things, as we forewent our lunch yesterday, this is not a top shop, and that these actions are being put in place, and we can account and create a reset Ghana, but a prosperous Ghana.
You heard Abena Amwa, who is the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange. Finally, before we go, the Bank of Ghana has announced plans to introduce a new Foreign Exchange Act that will incorporate virtual assets, reflecting ongoing developments in the financial markets. According to the governor, Dr. Johnson Esiama, the existing foreign exchange law is outdated and requires revision to align with modern financial trends. In an interview with the Bloomberg, Dr. Isiama assured that the new framework will not impose foreign exchange controls, but rather enhance market efficiency.
The act in place currently is quite an old one. It's an act that was passed in 2006, thereabout. A lot has happened since then. There's been several notices that have been published since then. There's been, new developments, fintechs and virtual assets and what have you. So the idea is to have a new law that is able to cover all these new developments, a new law that's able to take out all the inconsistencies to do with our notices, a new law that provides clarity to the markets. And that is exactly what I meant. It's nothing to do with foreign exchange controls, not at all. We believe in the markets. And so the idea is to provide that transparency, to provide that coverage, to ensure that we are better able to manage the foreign exchange markets. Now, remember, our objective is to avoid excessive volatility. Our objective is not to keep the exchange rate fixed. Our objective is to take out excessive volatility. We are maintaining the flexible exchange rate regime that we have.
Dr. Johnson Esiama is the governor of the Bank of Ghana. And then the business news on Eyewitness News. I am Sami Wiafe. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change. This year, something magical is happening. A celebration of tradition, flavor, and community. Welcome to the Back to Your Village Food Festival 2025.
Taste the heart of your heritage with mouth-watering dishes from across the country like Ademe with Akple, Tozafi with Ayoyo soup, Kokonte, Apopranta, Rare Quine, and many more. From rich spices to sweet treats, it's a journey for your senses. We're taking you back to your village.
Oh yes, let's recreate our age-old recipes.
But it's not just about food, We're celebrating culture, connecting with family, and making memories that last a lifetime.
This March, let's come together and discover the flavors that make us who we are. The date is 29th and 30th of March 2025. The venue, Accra Metropolitan Assembly, and the time is 10 a.m. through till 6 p.m. each day.
The Back to Your Village Food Festival 2025, where food, fun, and tradition meet. See you there.
Interested vendors should call 0558-973-973 or 0205-973-973 to register. The Back to Your Village Food Festival 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM and is proudly sponsored by Gino.
Oh, Joe jump on them. Go, the go. Ugomi, at what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so. This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir. Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them. Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, they make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my go be inside? I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small. The go. Joe Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
"22 minutes to the top of the hour. This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. On Point Blank today, we broach two matters. First has to do with the Heritage Caravan. The Caravanites, as we speak, are in Tamale. We'll touch base with them, after which we will bring you some recommendations from the just ended National Economic Dialogue. First, let's speak to Nanato, for my colleague, who is on the Caravan. And the Caravan is at Tamale as we speak. Hello, Nanato. Good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness. I know there is so much excitement where you are and amongst the team. Tell us where you are exactly, what you're doing there, and anything you can report.
Indeed, Shalom. A very good evening to you, and good evening to our listeners as well. The Heritage Caravan 2025, having set out from the south, which will have to be the Greater Accra Regional Capital, Accra, has today made its way to the Burkina Faso border, Paga, where Ghana shares a border with Burkina Faso. And but before getting to Burkina Faso, the Caravan made a few stops. Which stops will include a visit to the Chief Crocodile Pond and the Zinga Crocodile Pond. These are two crocodile ponds within the Paga enclave, where participants or patrons of the Heritage Caravan have the opportunity to interact with crocodiles, live crocodiles, which are called from the pond, fed chicken, and of course, patrons or caravanites are able to take pictures with these otherwise wild animals, if I can put it that way. But tell them, to answer your question, the Caravan has just made a stop, having descended from Paga in the Upper East region, has made a stop in the northern regional capital, Tamale. In Tamale, the Caravan has made its way to the Red Clay Studios, which belongs to renowned artist Ibrahim Mahama. Here they've been treated to a tour of the studio, various art installations, art exhibitions, and it's amazing the kind of stuff you see here. The collection of antique vehicles, which antique vehicles will include the cars you and I know, the ordinary everyday cars you and I know, abandoned planes. Okay, so if you get here, a number of planes abandoned. And if you recall, there was a lot of buzz around it when Mr. Ibrahim Mahama set off on a mission to bring these trains from Accra, where they had been abandoned, all the way to the northern regional capital, Tamale. Also out here in the yard, you find old locomotives, trains that have been decommissioned, if I can put it that way, are also here. And in fact, it presents a very beautiful scene. One that all Caravanites, all participants or patrons on the Heritage Caravan 2025 have appreciated so much. Now, if you step within the speakers itself, also wonderful installations from collection of cocoa sacks and its display in an amazing way to a collection of old box irons, radio sets that are no longer in use, and how they have been displayed so beautifully, each telling a story or each carrying a story of its own, a compelling one, of course. The kind of history and the emotion and culture attached to same history has put these participants or patrons of the Heritage Caravan in quite an emotional mood. And so, organizers, which happen to be Channel 1 Television and Citi FM, decided that, well, we have created such a level of emotional attachment between patrons or participants of the caravan and, of course, the history of the art installations. It will only make sense to diffuse the tension a bit or ease the atmosphere a bit. And so currently, as we speak, Salom, and as you can hear in the background, it is the Inchintin band that has set up shop here at the Red Clay Stadium, Ibrahim Mahama's Red Clay Stadium in Tamale, and currently dishing out some wonderful renditions of some of our favorite Ghanaian tunes and more. And so, if you ask me, it's been a splendid day, especially coming from a previous day where the caravan touched base in Bolga at about 12 a.m., dinner having been served after 12 midnight. And so you would expect that ordinarily people would have been tired, worn out, and would want to sleep. But the moment we announced the call time for today, which is 6 a.m., we had patrons coming out of their rooms eagerly and anticipating the day's activities. And so, Salom, briefly, if I can give you a summary of what has happened today, basically that is it. The caravan moved from Bogatanga in the Upper East region, went all the way to the border, that is Paga, also in the Upper East region, the border between Ghana and Burkina Faso. Caravan patrons actually had the opportunity to walk into Burkina Faso and, of course, to try some suya. The suya on the other side.
Yes.
of the border, quite amazing delicacy. And so, from the Paga, but on the way to Paga, we did the two ponds, which will be the Zinga Crocodile Pond and the Chief Crocodile Pond, also in Paga, and then we proceeded to the border, then retreated or descended to the northern region, made a stop in Tamale, the regional capital, currently at the Ibrahim Mohammed's Red Clay Studios, where the Kingston Band is performing, treating the caravan to some wonderful Ghanaian music.
I can imagine a lot of excitement in there. So, what's the plan now? You pass the night at Tamale and go where from there?
Indeed, Salam, we'll pass the night here in Tamale. It is the expectation that Caravanites will be treated to a proper dinner session at the Modern City Hotel after this particular entertainment by the two bands, and then we'll pass the night here in Tamale. As you would have it, the plan for this year was to begin the caravan with an ascension, and so we ascended all the way to Bogatanga, having departed from Accra on Sunday, March 2, made a stop in the Volta region, spent the night there, and then departed to Bogatanga all the way from the Volta region. And so it's been an ascension, spending long hours on the road. And so, if you ask me, in general terms, the biggest hurdle, or one of the biggest hurdles, has been cleared, which is the ascension all the way up north. And so, we're going to make a descent now. We'll pass the night in Tamale. That's tonight in Tamale. And then we'll begin our descent to the Bono region, where we're expected to pass the night in Sunyani. However, on our way, we'll make a stop at the Mole National Park, where we'll treat caravans to an encounter with nature. They will be able to interact with nature, being the animals in the natural state, and of course the greenery at the Mole National Park. So basically, that is the plan as it stands now. Pass the night in Tamale, and then begin our descent down south, making a stop at the Mole National Park tomorrow, and then continuing from there to the Bono region. Hopefully, if time is on our side, we are scheduled to make a stop at the Kintampo waterfall as well on our way to Sunyani.
Very well. I can see very packed itinerary or plan you have there. Thanks so much for speaking to us, and just have fun. We're also here. Just have fun, and that's it for.
Very well, Salom. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's Nanato for Boati, my colleague here at Citi FM, and he is on the Citi, the Heritage Caravan, and bringing us up to speed with what they have been doing. Now let's turn our attention to the National Economic Dialogue, which concluded today. So over the past 2 days, industry players have deliberated on ways to revive the economy. Among other things, the government has been urged to implement bold fiscal reforms to drive economic stability, diversify the economy, and enhance export competitiveness. Senior partner at ABN, David Ofosudote, who participated in the dialogue, shared expert recommendations on government incentivizing private sector institutions to invest in agriculture infrastructure.
We took infrastructure from a simplistic point of view as to what we use it for. And let's first look at how we feed ourselves, and that's with agriculture. And the way we put it is that the recommendations we are making are straightforward. We believe that these recommendations have to go into the budget, and our view is that if the recommendations are accepted, either all or most, if you change the should in all our recommendations to will or shall, it shall be a budget statement. So for agriculture, we believe government should incentivize private sector to invest in agri infrastructure, particularly irrigation and warehousing and pack houses for the consolidation and aggregation of agricultural products. We believe that in view of the need to have minimum recourse, we should look at projects that have some form of ability to recover cost, if not all. And we particularly recommend that the Pualugu irrigation project be looked at from all its multifaceted angle as one of the first projects in the agriculture sector. We are mindful about the challenges relating to it. We think whatever it is, those other benefits, including its potential for renewable energy, can have multiplier effect, as well as the fact that some plantation farmers may be able to pay part of the cost, and then we think government should bear the viability gap that will arise in order to help de-risk agricultural infrastructure, and that will be an example for that purpose. So if that is done, then government should encourage ownership by private sector and the development of other agri infrastructure. So that's for agriculture. Let me move to housing. Now for housing, we segregated housing into two clear, distinct parts: the low-cost and affordable housing, which for the mass, and then those which are at the higher end. We pegged the low cost as $50,000 and below, equivalent in CD terms. So having said that, we have reason to believe that the law we already have on the ground regarding the VATable component of real estate may come back. But if it will, then the team agreed with the proposal by Grida that it should be graduated, and that those infrastructure relating to housing, 50,000 and below, should be zero rated, whereas the rest are graduated from 1% upwards to 5%. We have the table of what the amounts are, and we shall make it available. Having said that, we think SEC, as the Securities and Exchange Commission, GSC, Abinamwa just left here, and GIF and other allied agencies should work with Ministry of Finance to structure more investable instruments of asset classes, and this affect other infrastructure sectors, not only housing. Because we think one of the challenges of pension funds playing a role in this is the way we don't have clearly defined investable asset classes for fund managers. I sit on a fund management board, so I have an idea of what I'm talking about. Having said that, we think Tier 1 and Tier 2 pension funds, as is SNIT and Tier 2, should come in and allow pension funds not only to be used, if possible, in an untaxable deposit arrangement for the low income, that's the 50,000 and below, but also as a recourse to default. So that way, we should be able to de-risk the market. Having said that, I think there is quite a lot of talk about the cost of infrastructure generally, and I'll return to this subject, Excellency, as I proceed. But we tend to overlook the other things that contribute to cost. I just had a presentation on ECG, inability to recover all their, as it were, the payments. But part of it is attributable to our failure to enforce development control provisions and our special plans under Act 925. If we do that, things will become much easier, and the cost of development of housing will be stepped down. So we made that recommendation as well. Then we took at university education. There is a report I've had the privilege of having a look at. It appears, notwithstanding the huge increase in the enrollment of children for schools, it turns out that our population growth is actually ahead of the supply of infrastructure for schools and our ability to accommodate. I've heard about 60,000 admissions and the rest. So having said that, we believe that structures exist now for entities like GIF to help develop student accommodation. There's a feasibility of a bankable project to be able to supply about 10,000 houses, for example, 10,000 hostel accommodation at the University of Ghana without recourse to government debt. And that's the kind of approach that we took in making the recommendations. All our recommendations are as much as possible with minimal or no recourse to government debt, because we are mindful about the big push, notwithstanding the fact that government doesn't have that much room to maneuver when it comes to finance. So that is for university accommodation. Now, in line with government's energy transition plan, we also recommend that government should encourage all secondary schools to work with private sector to install solar in most secondary schools, if not all, and have structures to ensure that the payment is borne by the private sector. The advantage is that it will leverage our ability to attract funding in other forms for the sector. The other thing we recommend government should do is that it should have a database, published database, of the needs of second cycle and primary institutions which require upgrade as well as supply of equipment and related infrastructure activities, so that that database will be made available to corporate entities who want to select from this and be able to develop those infrastructure as part of their CSR, of course, aligned to their tax and other incentives that they may attract. Again, that is one way of taking the burden off government. So at the same time, being able to attract funding and being able to, align it with the energy transition policy from the second cycle institution. To enhance this, we recommend that the Ministry of Finance through the Public Investment Division develop a bankability criteria which will be used as a basis for determining whether such projects should be done at tertiary level, at the secondary level, and related activities. Actually, we do have an outline of what the bankability criteria should look like, but the 20 minutes we have will not allow us to go into that, so those attachments will be made available. We looked at infrastructure also from standards of living from different angles. The first one to talk about is water. Once we know that water is essential for all of us, we are aware of the shortages, especially in urban areas. We believe that this program, there should be a program to take a look at Ghana's huge potential of its ability to export water. That may sound strange to many, but there are projects, actually, some led by the African Development Bank, to tap into the Sogakope Lome water project and export potable water from Ghana to Lome. The advantage of it is that that project enables us to earn dollars to offset the tariff in the lower end for those who need water in Ghana and may not be able to afford commercial rates if private sector comes in. At the same time, that project, which is fully studied, and the African Development Bank is, aware about this, which is fully studied, or at least almost fully studied, has a component in Ghana which will allow a 360,000 meter cube, 72 kilometer pipeline to increase water supply to Accra and solve part of the problem. And the cross-subsidization of water exports will change the dynamics significantly. It is more of action and concerted action that is required on the part of GWCL and the government of Ghana side. So this is not new. It has been dragging for a very long time. Health. We restricted ourselves to health to only two things. We believe that regional hospitals and the rest are going to be on the basis of government funds. And we do believe also that when it comes to the upper end, there's quite a lot of private sector opportunities, so we did not bother about that. But we focused on the CHIPS compound, which can actually require up to about 6,000 chip compounds in communities across the country. Our findings, and these are backed by evidence, indicates that the government can attract up to 50 to 75% of grant money available to be able to improve the supply of equipment for chip compounds across the nation once we prioritize and rank them. And we believe this is one way to minimize the cost component that the government has to contribute to be able to make health available for all, and I'm talking about health in this modern sense. On Agenda 111, the recommendation is that the government should prioritize the project, and I think the president himself said that yesterday, and bring in the possibility of GIF leveraging its social infrastructure component as a basis to be able to deliver those which can be delivered at the point of a minimum cost recovery if possible. Now, we also looked at infrastructure in terms of licenses on spectrum and ICT, and the recommendation for spectrum licensing is to tie the expansion to specific targets of industries as a fair way of linking the spectrum to allocation of networks and expansion commitments. Government can achieve this objective by ensuring that the network connectivity is extended to communities whilst operators get much in the spectrum to deliver improved services. Still on that, the ducts and crossings should be provided during the construction of major roads to redesign, especially when it comes to redesign of existing roads. This step will incentivize the laying of more fiber infrastructure across the nation, and we should consider using Gridco, Netco, and Gensa network as well as pylons. And ECG, which already has fiber network, should increase the opportunity to lay more fiber across the country to make it easily accessible. Actually, education has changed form. These days, if you are not actually educated on technology to some extent, you are functionally illiterate. And this is therefore a very important aspect that we must take a look at. Then support of connectivity using GIFED fund and grants should also be considered in partnership with GIFED and other private sector entities to increase access to broadband and connectivity. Let me move on to transport and connectivity, which was a big one in the room, and there are several aspects of transportation. The first one is to reintroduce tolls. We are aware that at the point tolls were removed, there were investors around who were ready to put in money on toll roads. And the reintroduction of tolls, especially on the highway as well as the urban expressways through PPP mechanisms, will incentivize the private sector to come back. Definitely there are instances or the areas where there will be financing gaps, but the more the financing gap is minimized, the lesser the recourse to government. And we believe that specific projects like Accra to Takrady, Accra Kumasi, and Accra Flow are areas where government can use these main arterial roads to explore PPP opportunities. I know a lot of people do have sentiments when it comes to PPPs, and will try to explain all the theories about PPPs. The important point is that you cannot have a big push without private sector funding when it comes to this.
So that was David Ofosu-Dote, senior partner at ABN David Africa, one of the speakers at the National Economic Dialogue, addressing one of the themes, the 6 themes or thematic areas: infrastructure, where he dealt with agri infrastructure, health infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, among other things. This is how we conclude today's edition of Point Blank and Eyewitness News. Came to you live from our studios here in Accra. Show produced by Nana Kobna Wilson, Beverly in London, Juliana Odame, and Manoa Yama. Technical assistance given by Daniel Squashi. Earlier, you also heard Sami Wiafe. My name is Selom Adonu. Have a good evening.
A few weeks ago,